Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 9 in season number 6 of the NRLOA Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We are here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600. An 80-lap race around this 1.5-mile speedway in Concord, North Carolina. And we are in NASCAR's backyard here tonight for the longest race of the season, and definitely one of my favorite races of the season as well. It's part of the crown jewel here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. The Daytona 500, the Coke 600, the NRLOA 500, and the Rays Dyes and Tubing 400, part of the crown jewel here in this series. This is the second stop in the crown jewel. Even though there's no championship for it, I still consider this one of the biggest races of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series because it's the longest race of the season as well. And in last year's race, it was pretty big for a guy named Stuart Gratton, who broke a well over 100 race losing streak to grab the victory here in the Coca-Cola 600. It put him in the chase for the first time since season 1, and he did pretty well in the chase as well. And winning this race indicates chase success. Roger Carruth won this race in season number 1. He was the champion in season number 1. In season number 4, the runner-up in the championship was William Brock. He got into the chase by winning this race here at Charlotte. Anyways, coming into today's event, Ricky Stevenson still holds the points lead in the number 38. 235 points for him. 34 points behind Ricky Stevenson, it is Daniel Bouchard in the number 11, who starts on the outside pole for today's race. And the pole sitter, Marty Johnson, is only 40 points behind coming into today's event, with Noah Cars tied for the third position in points, also 40 points behind. Cody Sill rounds out the top 5, 42 points behind. It's Ricky Stevenson, Cody Sill, Isaac Nichols, Al Agassi, Cameron Garlington, Blaine Keys, and Matt Dalio. The 7 drivers locked into the chase so far in season number 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Will somebody else lock themselves into the chase, or we'll have our first double winner of the season? I'm just going to have to find out. And we can't find out until the engines are fired. So let's head trackside for the command in the Coca-Cola 600.
On behalf of me and the Mock Series group, drivers, start your engines!
And a great command there to fire these guys up. The number 32 of Marty Johnson will start on the pole position for Go Fast Racing and Michael Kelly. Alongside him, it's Daniel Bouchard, who's second in the points. In the number 11, of course, Marty Johnson is third in the points, and so is this guy, Noah Cars, inside row 2. Only 40 points behind Ricky Stevenson, and Ricky Stevenson's teammate starts alongside Noah Cars. Our last winner here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, Al Agassi, who won at Richmond on Wednesday. We got ourselves a part-timer in Dale Salzman, starting alongside the 77 of Ryan Madden. Cameron Garlington, the Daytona 500 champion, will start alongside Jordan Lopez in row number 4. Colin Driver will start alongside Jesse Turner, who, I said it at Richmond, I'm focusing on this guy. We saw Stuart Bratton break a really long losing streak here last season. We might see the same with Jesse Turner here tonight. It's a stretch. He's got to beat 39 other guys, but Turner, he's just on the verge of getting a win here soon. I can just sense it. Matt Dalio, Tristan Allen, row 6. Alonso and Johnston, row 7. Lopez and Garcia, Bartow and Arndt. Then it's Hamill and Caleb Hoffman rounding out the top 20 starting positions for the Coca-Cola 600. 80 laps of action around this 1.5-mile speedway. And I'm looking forward to the longest race of the season. The pace cars pulled off 120 miles for tonight's race, and Marty Johnson will lead us off. We're racing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The number 32 of Marty Johnson will pull away in lead lap 1. Here comes Noah Cars to the inside for the lead. And Cars had a very strong outing at Richmond on Wednesday. And because of his strong outing, he pushed his way to tying with Marty Johnson in the point standings for the 3rd position, only 40 points behind. However, he is going to lose the lead here to Dale Salzman in the 96, a part-time driver there. Cookie Helms, the owner of Gaunt Brothers Racing, they're right now leading in the Coca-Cola 600. Cameron Garlington, the Daytona 500 champion, he won the first Crown Jewel race. This is the 2nd Crown Jewel race. And we'll see if this 47 can go 2 for 2 so far in these big events in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Up to 2nd right now in the number 47. Colin Driver in the 55 to the inside of Noah Cars for 3rd. Matt Delia right behind him. Here's Larvin Alonso helping on the inside lane. But Dale Salzman will lead lap number 3 here at Charlotte. It's a very long race here tonight. We're going to have a lot of pit stops as well. Possibly 4 regular pit stops in this race. And it could get very interesting near the end as well, because the fuel window is about 20 laps, and we got 80 laps in tonight's race. And 80 is divisible by 20, so this thing could definitely get interesting, especially if it goes caution-free. This race theoretically went caution-free last year up until the last lap. We did get an official green flag finish, however, because it happened on the last lap and they raced back to the line. But this race seldom sees many cautions. And I'm definitely looking forward to that, if that is going to be the case here tonight. Nearly every single race so far this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, there has been a caution extremely early in the race. But I think tonight we're finally going to break that. And how about this? 2 part-timers, 1-2 right now here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Salzman and Colin Driver looking to get some redemption after the rather poor night he had at Richmond on Wednesday. Of course, Colin Driver almost won at Rockingham, had a very dominating performance, but near the end, Matt Delia was able to beat him because Delia had fresher tires, and just the smartest strategy for that race. Delia right now running in the 5th position for Hendrick Motorsports, looking to back up that win in Rockingham. He's pushing the Daytona 500 champion of Cameron Garlington by the number 3 of Noah Cars, but right now it's 2 part-timers out front, Dale Salzman and Colin Driver. And it looks like Colin Driver is content to stay behind the 96 right now. Of course, like I said, a very long race, 80 laps of action here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we're only on lap 7 of this event. It is the longest race of the season, and you got plenty of time to move your way up front in this race. Starting to get single file, but that does not mean we're not going to see passing. We do see quite a bit of passing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we're going to see it right here. Matt Delia trying to get to the inside of Cameron Garlington for 3rd. The number 88 looking strong. And Delia trying to get it to stick on the 47 through turn 2. And he will be able to do so. Garlington will fall back in the 47. And he is going to lose at least 4 positions, maybe 6 positions, after getting stuck in the outside lane. It's quite obvious that the outside lane is not the best place to be here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, as you can fall back tremendously if you do not get a good run up there. And Garlington did not get a good run. He lost 6 positions as Dalio got to the inside of him. For the lead, Driver on Salzman, the number 55, looking to the inside of the 96. They're side by side for the lead on lap 9 of 80, and Colin Driver is going to attempt to take it away from the 96. We got 3 wide back in here. Tristan Allen almost made it 3 wide with Noah Cars and Matt Dalio, but that did not happen. Driver to the inside of Salzman for the lead. The number 55 will take it away from the 96. Here comes Anthony Lopez in the number 72. He will take the 2nd position away from the 96. More 3 wide. A couple of Stuart Haas guys to the inside of Matt Dalio. Trey Barton moving his way up in the number 4, along with Herja Larvin Alonso. Good to see Tristan Allen having a good run here tonight in the number 2. He is, I do believe, of all the full-time guys, last in the points. And Tristan Allen would definitely love to turn all that around with his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory. Jesse Turner has a pretty long losing streak, but so does his number 2. Tristan Allen has never won before, and he's raced in every single Chick-fil-A Cup Series race since season number 3 started. And that's quite a few races. Over 100 races for Tristan Allen at this point. But anyways, number 55, a Colin Driver, a part-time driver leading the field. I mean, these part-time drivers have just been unbelievable this season. And, I mean, you saw in the points at the end of race 7. William Johnson was 6th in the points as a part-time driver. That is how good the part-timers have done this season, especially William Johnston, who has definitely had a lot of great finishes in all the starts he has had this season. You see him in the number 75 there, just inside the top 10. He's going to go 3 wide here with Dalio and Adam Lewis. They're going to be 3 wide here through the tri-oval. That could be a little treacherous, but I do believe they're going to figure it out. They usually figure out 3 wide pretty well here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And back out front, it's Dale Salzman in the 96 who is taking it away from Colin Driver. Anthony Lopez looking to strike on the 55, and Trey Bartow moving his way up in the number 4. Now, Trey Bartow came close to winning this race in season number 1. He was leading late in the going, but got passed by Cameron Gaju, and then Cameron Gaju got passed by Roger Carruth. That's what gave Roger Carruth his championship in season number 1. And like I said about this race is definitely a race to win if you want to do good in the championship. Before the Chick-fil-A Cup Series began, in the first season I had, the only season I did of the Mello Cup Series back in 2014, which unfortunately does not exist anymore, I do believe it was Brett Yoder who won this race and won the championship as well. It happened twice in a row, theoretically, and William Brock was the runner-up in Season 4, and he won this race in that season as well. So winning this race is definitely a big deal. Anthony Lopez to the inside of Colin Driver. Here comes Bartow for third to the inside of the 55. And I'm telling you, Ricky Stevenson has been outstanding this season. He leads in the Rookie of the Year points, he leads in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series points, and his team, Front Row Motorsports, leads in the Owners' points. And speaking of Front Row Motorsports, they got both of their drivers in the top 10 right now. Both of their drivers are locked into the chase as well. The team has been outstanding, and Ricky Stevenson has led the way in the 38, up to 4th right now. Trey Bartow is definitely one of the stronger guys at this moment. He's going to get to the inside of Anthony Lopez for the 2nd position. And Bartow trying to take the 2nd position away from the 72 of Lopez. I believe he's going to do so. Hergel Arvin Alonso now in the top 5 in the number 10. And it's Al Agassi, Colin Driver, Adam Lewis, and Tristan Allen, a couple of Penske teammates. Cody Smart's team has not had the best of seasons, but they did get a good run altogether at Richmond. Adam Lewis finished 2nd in that race, and Tristan Allen finished midway through the pack. So Penske Racing got the most points they ever have gotten. Car on the wall. That was Anthony Lopez hitting the outside wall there. I believe they were doing that. They were up high on the racetrack in anticipation for the 96 of Dale Salzman to come down the pit lane. And we have started our first cycle of pit stops here tonight in the Coca-Cola 600. Salzman is in. Then it's Colin Driver, Ace Garcia, and Reagan Whitlock. Trey Bartow has inherited the lead, but expect these guys to come down the pit lane here. Last year we saw a crash involving a driver trying to come down the pit lane. It might happen if these guys try to go 3 wide entering the pit lane, but it's not going to happen here. These guys still staying out. Anthony Lopez is still out in the 72. He actually scraped the outside wall the lap before, and Adam Lewis is now out front in the number 22. Julius Anderson, an issue coming into the pit lane, but I do believe we will remain green in this race. But Anderson got spun entering the pit lane there in the number 20. That's an unfortunate one for him. And I'm going to try to locate those guys who just came down the pit lane on the first cycle. Dale Salzman coming out into the racetrack. And you see the rest of these guys coming down here, starting lap number 20. You see number 4 here of Trey Bartow side by side with Ricky Stevenson off the pit lane. Bartow will drive around him. I believe that William Johnston and Matt Dalio have still yet to come down the pit lane. They are the only 2 drivers yet to come down the pit lane, and they are going to come down right here. So after Johnston and Dalio are done with their pit stops, the first cycle of pit stops will be complete here for the Coca-Cola 600. There's Dale Salzman. He is pulled away from Trey Bartow and Ricky Stevenson. A great pit stop on the 96 team. Of course, he had the fresh tires a little bit longer than Bartow and Stevenson did, so that is why this 96 is out front at the moment. Of course, we got some guys coming off the pit lane right here. These guys are coming off from the guys who came in before these guys here with Adam Lewis, and Salzman will take the lead in the 96. So Anderson and Sill not getting good pit stops. They're at the tail end right now. Here comes Colin Driver in the 55 of a run to the inside of Ricky Stevenson for 2nd. But right now, Dale Salzman is pulled away to a massive lead in the number 96. And you see William Johnston and Matt Dalio coming off the pit lane. They're not going to be anywhere close to the lead once this cycle ends, so it's going to be Salzman all by himself right now in the number 96. Still 60 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that's how long this race used to be before we extended the length of these races. And Dale Salzman has a pretty comfortable lead in the number 96, but drafting can be a factor here at Charlotte, and these guys might work together to close up to the 96 before the next cycle of pit stops. Ricky Stevenson, Trey Bartow, Colin Driver, Reagan Whitlock, Adam Lewis, and Jay Jefferson all getting great pit stops, and they're right now running in the top 10. If they run single file like this, they will close in on the number 96 very quickly. We're just going to have to see how they figure it out. Stevenson leading this pack right here, running in the second position. And they are closing in on Dale Salzman, so expect these guys to close in on the 96 and battle for the lead in a few laps. Ricky Stevenson pulling away a little bit from the rest of these guys. Colin Driver taking the third position away from Trey Bartow. Reagan Whitlock to the inside of Bartow. Lewis and Jefferson will also get around Bartow as he got stuck on the outside lane. Salzman still out front, but his lead is diminishing. I do believe, yes it is, about 0.3 of a second each lap right now. And the number 38 is probably going to get around him here in a couple of laps. Especially if they go single file like this. They get that draft down the backstretch, they're going to gain about 5 more miles per hour than the 96 doing that. And that is going to close them up to that 96 very quickly. But Salzman, a great pit stop for him and that part-time team of Gaunt Brothers Racing. Cookie Helms, the owner. They're definitely shining strong here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And they currently hold the lead here, a quarter of the way through the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Colin Driver up to second. He got around Ricky Stevenson. Reagan Whitlock in the 78 up to third. Furniture Racing has not had the best of seasons, but Nathan Stapleton's team looking pretty good right now with Reagan Whitlock in the 78. Bartow looking to the inside of Stevenson now, and Stevenson is stuck on the outside lane. Trey Bartow is the most experienced driver in this pack right now. He has raced in every single season of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series and the only driver to do so of the top 7. They're side-by-side for second as Whitlock gets around Colin Driver. And you can see these guys closing in fast on the number 96. I see some smoke there. Somebody might have gone through the infield, but no caution. And that's the way Charlotte is. If they don't feel like they need to throw out the caution, they're not going to throw out the caution. The caution flags are turned on, and we rarely see them, even if we get a crash sometimes. It's the way Charlotte is. Colin Driver with help from Trey Bartow on the inside of Reagan Whitlock, and you can obviously tell here that these guys are closing in fast on our leader. So do not mind the dust there. I'm not sure who it might have been that went through the dust, but everybody is still on the lead lap, so could have been anybody. Salzman still out front. He has never won a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race before. He's never been a full-time driver in this series, but he's raced in a couple of seasons. And Driver closing in on him fast here, also a part-time driver. They've been the two most dominant guys of this race so far here in the Coca-Cola 600. So Salzman and Driver 1-2, Trey Bartow, Adam Lewis 3 and 4, and in 5th place is Jay Jefferson in the 31. There goes Trey Bartow to the inside of Colin Driver for second. And Bartow's going to have his eyes set on the 96 now. They're closing in fast on Dale Salzman, and I believe Bartow might get around him here on the next lap. Bartow trying to get the run, this outside lane right here. And he's trying to get that draft on the 96 through the front stretch. All these guys single file in this lead pack. Back in here in the second pack, we have Garrett Sonora running 8th, Al Lagacy running in 9th, and Ace Garcia rounding out the top 10. Tristan Allen, Jordan Lopez, Richard Kinghart, Donovan Dufitt, William Johnston, Elijah Gordon. He almost won this race in season number 2, but lost it on the last lap to Warren Henniger, who drove the 27 that season. Alexander Rowe right behind Elijah Gordon right now. And then Alonzo Keys, Lopez, and Jonathan King about the top 20 there here in the Coca-Cola 600. Trey Bartow took the lead away from the 96, but Lewis got right to the inside of him, and Adam Lewis is now out front here in the Coca-Cola 600. But Salzman's going to file in for second, so he is still part of this lead battle right now. Jay Jefferson in the 31 running third as Bartow slips up a little bit in the number 4. So Adam Lewis, Dale Salzman, Jay Jefferson, Trey Bartow, Reagan Whitlock the top 5, lap 31 of 80. It is now 49 laps to go in the Coca-Cola 600 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You have been caution-free so far in this race, and definitely the longest green flag run to start a race this season in the NRLOA Chick-fil-A Cup Series, season number 6. Adam Lewis out front in the number 22. We're going to see these guys come down the pit lane here shortly for their second cycle of pit stops of the night. And it could definitely have a big effect on who wins this race. Salzman got out ahead of everybody under the first cycle. He's going to have to see where he files in under the second cycle here, coming up in a few laps. I believe Salzman came in about lap 17, so Salzman's going to probably come in the next couple of laps here in the number 96. Adam Lewis out front in the number 22 for Penske Racing. Now, the rookie drivers have done a fantastic job this season. The past 2 races have been won by rookies, and I believe that 4 of the drivers locked into the chase so far are rookie drivers. Ricky Stevenson, Cody Sill, Isaac Nichols, and Al Legacy, all rookie drivers this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, locked into the chase so far. Only Garlington, Keys, and Dalio, they are the only 3 veterans locked into the chase coming into tonight's race. Trey Bartow up the 3rd in the number 4. And the number 38 of Ricky Stevenson up the 4th. Now, Trey Bartow, he was a Final 4 driver last season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but late in the going, he was battling for the championship. He crashed with Cody Smart in the 21, who was also a Final 4 driver. At the time, however, Cody Smart was a lap down. And oh, brother! In the wall goes Bartow as Salzman tried to come down the pit lane. Bartow was to the inside of him, and that's going to majorly hurt the number 4 of Trey Bartow. Unbelievable. Adam Lewis will pull away here in the number 22, and Bartow falling back in the 4, but he still has a chance of winning this thing. He only gained a little bit of damage, but you see the damage to the right side of his race car. That was very unfortunate as Salzman tried to come down the pit lane. Turner is down in the 43. So is driver and Ace Garcia. And the second cycle of pit stops has begun here in the Coca-Cola 600. More guys coming down. Ricky Stevenson, Reagan Whitlock, Trey Bartow, Al Legacy, Jordan Lopez, Noah Cars. I believe Adam Lewis is still out there. He's got a 2.5 second lead right now. And only because Trey Bartow held everybody behind him up because Dale Salzman clipped him into the wall. So that's very beneficial to the number 22 of Adam Lewis. We're just going to have to see how these guys can figure it out. Lewis is still staying out, however, and the longer you stay out, the more time these guys coming in are going to gain on you because of their fresher tires. Contact on the pit lane between Julius Anderson and Ricky Stevenson. I'm wondering if that's going to affect the number 38. And Stevenson might have some damage to his race car because of that incident. That's an unfortunate one there for Ricky Stevenson. Reagan Whitlock will drive by. We still have quite a few guys out there on the racetrack. Adam Lewis is now coming down the pit lane. William Johnston's going to stay out along with Matt Dalio here, and they stayed out the longest the last cycle that we had. So I'm wondering, especially if this thing comes down to the final lap here, the way this thing is looking, it could be Johnson and Dalio in the catbird seat if they happen to come down and start the cycle, say, about lap 76. I think these 2 guys might be able to stay out and make it on 3 stops in this race. It's possible. But I'm just not entirely sure. They're going to come down for their second stops, and that is going to complete the cycle here for the second time. There's Trey Bartow in the 4. I don't know exactly where he is in relation to everybody else, but I believe he's pretty far back because he had to repair some damage from the incident that occurred with Dale Salzman. And that probably will take Trey Bartow out of contention to win this race here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's a very unfortunate one for the number 4. Anyways, out front, it is the number, I believe, 96, who is going to stay out front. But this time, Colin Driver is right behind him in the 55. I'm not sure if Turner's on the lead lap or not. And he is not on the lead lap, so Jesse Turner's a lap down right now in the number 43. That's an unfortunate one for him. I was talking about him earlier on in the race, and I'm saying, you know what, this might be his chance to win, but being a lap down at this point, and especially looking at the way this thing has been going, I just do not see Jesse Turner getting this win, unfortunately, here tonight at Charlotte. Adam Lewis is 3rd. Whitlock, Garcia, Jefferson and Stevenson in this pack here, trying to close in fast on the leaders. But this time, we got two guys in the draft here up front with Colin Driver and Dale Salzman. These part-timers, I'm telling you, they have done a heck of a job this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And they're looking to grab their second win as part-timers. Eric Almenhart won as a part-timer in California. And we're looking to get our second part-time winner this season. But Adam Lewis wants a little bit of a different story in the number 22. He's running third right now, and right in this lead pack with Salzman and Driver. He's going to get to the inside of Driver for the second position. Now he's going to have his eyes set on the 96. Trey Bartow, because of the damage he accumulated, fell back to 36th, and that is just majorly unfortunate for Trey Bartow, I should say. Dale Salzman came down on him there as Salzman tried to come down the pit lane. There goes Lewis to the inside for the lead, lap 43 of 80, and Adam Lewis taking the lead away from Dale Salzman with help from Colin Driver. Driver's also going to drive by the 96, and Lewis is out front right now in the 22. So Jesse Turner, he is a lap down in the 43, right now running 39th. He is the only driver a lap down still on the racetrack. Julius Anderson, I believe, might be out. No, he's actually coming back out on the racetrack right now. He stayed on the pit lane trying to fix the damage that he had to his race car. Quite a bit of damage on that number 20 machine. He's multiple laps down right now for Joe Gibbs Racing. An unfortunate one there for the number 20. Back out front, a couple guys here. Elijah Gordon and Garrett Senor pretty close to the front right now. They might have a chance of possibly stealing this victory. Elijah Gordon, he might feel like one was lost here in season number 2. I believe he led at the white flag, but Henniger just drove right by him on the final lap, and that could have been Elijah Gordon's first career win. He did not win again. He actually did not win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series until Season 4, and he has not won since then. Elijah Gordon also has a pretty long losing streak here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And even longer is Garrett Senor. It's been since Season 4, Race 2, since Garrett Senor has won here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. So both of these guys with pretty long losing streaks. Same with Tristan Allen. They might have a chance here tonight at possibly breaking those streaks. But they got to get around quite a few young drivers up front. And Adam Lewis, I mean, he is strong right now. I'm this number 22 for Penske Racing. He finished second at Richmond. And here he is running first in the number 22 in the Coca-Cola 600. Driver and Salzman won, or second and third place right now. And then you got this pack here with Jay Jefferson. Ace Garcia definitely got a great pit stop in the 23. Reagan Whitlock, Ricky Stevenson, and Garrett Senor has joined this pack as well in the number 6. Tristan Allen and Elijah Gordon not too far behind. And I think we might possibly see the winner in this pack right now because of pit stops. Pit stops are definitely going to play a big factor later on. We've gone through half of them here tonight. We're going to have 2 more cycles. And once we get through that final cycle, which is going to be really close to the end of the race, we'll probably know who gets the victory here in the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Adam Lewis still out front in the 22. Salzman and Driver trying to close in. I do not know if these guys here are closing in on Salzman and Driver right now. They might be. We're just going to have to see. Reagan Whitlock in the 78, currently running in the 4th position. It's 2.30 seconds behind Adam Lewis this lap, and now it is a little bit longer, so they are not closing in on the leader, Adam Lewis, and that is mainly because these two guys are in a draft with each other, helping each other down the straightaways. So it's going to come down to the next cycle of pit stops to see if any of these guys merge up to the leaders. The best way to do that is to come in early. You get the fresher tires for a little bit longer than everybody else, and you're able to gain on everybody else because you short pit. When you short pit like that, you get fresher tires while everybody else has worn tires. You're going to gain some speed on those guys, and once the whole thing cycles through, you're going to be pretty close to the lead. And that is something I would do if I was one of these guys in this little pack here right now, running just a couple seconds behind the leaders. Ace Garcia has been doing that. He's been coming in early along with Dale Salzman, and I believe Garcia might have a great chance of winning this race in number 23 because of that strategy. Of course, Elijah Gordon, Tristan Allen, Garrett Senor also in this pack. Ricky Stevenson in the 38, the points leader in this pack. And I got the second pack here. Donovan Duthit, William Johnston, Richard Kinghart, Blaine Keys, Alexander Rowe, Matt Tuck, and Jordan Lopez. There's Derek Hamill, Matt Delio, Al Legacy, Julius Anderson's multiple laps down. Stuart Gratton, the defending winner of this race, in number 37. Noah Carr is back in there, a little ways behind the leader here at Charlotte. Adam Lewis definitely putting on a dominating performance here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have not done this yet this season because there really hasn't been a good opportunity to do so. At least I don't think. I don't think I've done it this season. But we got a good opportunity to do so now. So let's crank it up for y'all here in the Coca-Cola 600. And that was a good crank it up here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Anyways, the third cycle has begun. Salzman has come down the pit lane in the 96. And he's coming in early with quite a few other guys. A lot of guys coming down earlier this time than they were before. Ricky Stevenson, remember what I said? He was in that pack. If you come in early, you might get a chance at... you know what? I don't think he's actually coming down the pit lane for service. It looks like he might have an issue in the 38 because he is not taking tires. So that's an unfortunate one there for Ricky Stevenson. And it looks like his night might not continue on in the number 38. He's now coming out into the racetrack. A very slow stop there for the 38 team. Might have been repairing some damage possibly. And we might have missed it once we were doing that crank it up with Dale Salzman coming down. It's been an issue with Salzman this whole race. Here's Ace Garcia. I believe he has already made his pit stop in the 23, and I believe he came in before anybody else. There's Salzman in the 96, and Salzman, if this thing cycles through the way it could, he'll probably be back out front. But we do have quite a few guys getting an advantage, I do believe. I can't tell because some of these guys are on the tail end of the lead lap and other guys aren't. Tristan Allen is on the lead lap here. He's going to file in. And look at this. We got some more guys leading here. 96, 55, 78, 23. The interesting thing is I do not see Adam Lewis anywhere. What happened to the 22? There's Adam Lewis. Where will he file in with the rest of these leaders? It looks like he's going to have a massive lead here once this cycle is complete. I'm not sure if Isaac Nichols is on the lead lap or not. And there you go. Adam Lewis, Dale Salzman, this is going to be for the lead. Salzman has all the momentum in the 96, but they're trying to get around Zachary Fitzwater, who is a lapped car in the 41. They're clogging up behind the 22 here, and if they're not careful, they might wreck. They got to be careful trying to get around these guys here. And this is bumping up the field. Whitlock in the 78 in this pack as well. Whitlock is trying to grab his first career win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series since the finale in Season 1. There goes Colin Dryber to the inside of Adam Lewis for the lead. The 78 is going to take second away from the 22. Salzman and Garcia not too far behind. A few guys have still yet to come down the pit lane, but I think they just came down. The 75 and the 88, I believe they are still out there, and there they are coming out onto the racetrack after their pit stops. They are coming in very late in the 75 and the 88. And here is the lead, the number 78 of Reagan Whitlock taking it away from Colin Dryber, 3 wide here at Charlotte. Salzman taking second, Adam Lewis, and we got ourselves a pretty good race here. I do believe the number 83 of Isaac Nichols is a lap down. He is, and so is Zachary Fitzwater. So the next position is Tristan Allen in the 2. Jesse Turner is also a lap down in the 43 in the way of these leaders. Garrett Senor, he did not get a good pit stop. He fell back in the number 6. He was running in the top 10. He's fallen outside the top 10 after that cycle of pit stops. 20 laps to go here in the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Salzman leads it. The number 78 trying to get the run on the outside here. Adam Lewis, Ace Garcia, and Colin Driver all have a chance of winning this thing. I don't know about Allen and Gordon at this point. They might just be too far back to have a chance. But we've seen a lot of crazy things here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And you know what you do on that final pit stop? It's going to be very late in this race. It's going to be really close to the finish. Go fuel only. Just go fuel only. And if you do that, you'll probably come out on top. Because I don't think these guys are going to come down the pit lane and not take tires. I just don't know. I think that final pit stop for everybody should be fuel only. But who knows how it's going to be here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's been caution-free so far, and after the last race we had here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, definitely very welcome to see the race we are seeing here tonight. Whitlock down the third as Lewis gets to the inside of him. It's been Adam Lewis and Dale Salzman, the two dominant guys of this race so far. Colin Driver runs in the 4th position, and Ace Garcia runs in the 5th position. Nichols, Fitzwater, they're a lap down. Gordon and Allen, they're only 3.5 seconds behind, so they still have a chance. But they are still quite a ways behind our leaders, and they're going to have a very, very good pit stop if they're going to get around them. So I believe the winner is going to be one of these 5 guys in the top 5 right now. Salzman, Lewis, Whitlock, Driver, or Garcia in the 23. Number 96 still out front. Dale Salzman trying to grab his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory. Reagan Whitlock trying to make it into the chase for the first time in his career. And Whitlock to the inside of Salzman for the lead. And Reagan Whitlock will lead lap 64 here in the Coca-Cola 600. It's definitely been an interesting race, and we still have no clue who's going to win this thing, especially considering that we're going to have another cycle of pit stops in this race. Who's going to win the Coca-Cola 600 here tonight in Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series? Don't look now, but I believe these two guys are closing in. And if they can get within a second of the lead pack, they're going to have a shot. Elijah Gordon, Tristan Allen, Jay Jefferson. How about Alexander Rowe in the 27 with a great chance of winning tonight's race if he can stay with this pack and if this pack can close in. Of course, they actually lost some ground that time because Gordon made a pass on Tristan Allen. They got to stay single file if they're going to close into the lead pack. But they can see the lead pack down the backstretch. Our leaders are battling with lap traffic. You see Isaac Nichols here in the 83. He's actually gotten around a lot of these guys in this pack right now. And Whitlock is actually pulling away right now in the 78. And number 78 has a good chance of winning this race here at Charlotte. Adam Lewis up the second. Driver, they're both going to go up the racetrack. Here comes Ace Garcia and Dale Salzman on the inside lane. And all these guys back in here need to do is stay single file, and they are going to have a chance of winning this thing. It's now less than 3 seconds between the leader, Reagan Whitlock, and Elijah Gordon in the 5. And remember what Salzman has been doing here. I mean, remember what Salzman and Bartow had. That was the second cycle. Salzman came in, clipped Bartow into the outside wall. And it's possible that a similar situation could happen again, only be worse. We could still possibly get a caution before this race is over. Last year in this race, we had a caution on the final lap of the race. It's not impossible, and it might very well happen here tonight, especially in these next couple of laps. If that happens, it's going to be a shootout, because they're going to come down the pit lane, and that'll be the last stop of the race, of course, and it's just on from there. Adam Lewis is closed in on the number 78, and it's now 2.5 seconds for Elijah Gordon in the 5, closing in on the lead pack. There's not much time to do it, though, for the number 5 of Elijah Gordon. We're just going to have to see what he does. Hendrick Motorsports, they already have 2 of their drivers in the chase. John Andrews, the owner of this team, they have not done too well in the owner's standings, but if Elijah Gordon were to win tonight, 3 of their 4 drivers would make it into the chase. And Gordon is closing in. Now 2.28 seconds for the number 5 on our leader. But Adam Lewis is now out front in the 22. They were having a change for the lead. That might be a good reason why Elijah Gordon closed in so fast. And Lewis now pulling away in the 22 from the rest of the pack. But we still have another cycle of pit stops to go in this race. Do not forget that. I'm telling you, Elijah Gordon, he's closing in here. He actually did not gain on that lap, and I believe that was because Adam Lewis pulled away there. But Elijah Gordon and Jay Jefferson are going to close into the end of this pack before the cycle of pit stops begins. They're getting around John Arndt, a lap down machine in the 24. And number 22 of Adam Lewis remains out front with a couple of part-timers right behind him. There's Elijah Gordon and Jay Jefferson. Jefferson doing the smart thing. Never mind, he's going to the inside of Elijah Gordon. That's going to hurt these guys. I was about to say, Jay Jefferson was staying behind the 5. He's doing the smart thing if he's doing that, trying to close in on this pack. But if they're going to go side by side like this, it's going to slow them down, and that might give away the chance for either of these guys to win this race. Is Salzman coming down now? I believe he is. So the cycle of pit stops is beginning. Dale Salzman, Reagan Whitlock, Ace Garcia down the pit lane. And the caution is out, I do believe. I saw the flagman waving. And the caution is out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Trying to find where it is. I do not see anybody sideways on the racetrack. And my goodness, this one's going to get interesting for the finish of the Coca-Cola 600. How about that? And that is exactly what Dale Salzman, Reagan Whitlock, and Ace Garcia did not want to see. Absolutely unbelievable for those guys. They're going to come down here. Adam Lewis leads the field. If I'm somebody back in here, back in the pack, I'm going fuel only. I am going fuel only. You got to do that. How about Stuart Grattan? He's in the top 10 right now. Grattan has a chance of winning this thing. But anyways, our first caution of the race here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Very late in the going. We will get a restart, however. And I believe we're going to have about 4 or 5 laps to go. No, actually probably 3 or 4 laps to go in this race before the finish. I believe some of these guys... Oh no, contact between Elijah Gordon and Ricky Stevenson! And the driver who will win the race off of the pit lane will be Donovan Duthit in the number 18. And Duthit is on the lead lap in the number 18, so he will inherit the lead. Did we have some guys stay out here? I believe Salzman and Whitlock are a lap down. They might not be. They might not be. So this might have worked out for Salzman and Whitlock. I believe they might still be on the lead lap here. But I will say this. Donovan Duthit is now the leader here in the Coca-Cola 600 with William Johnston, who, I mean, is just absolutely unbelievable this season as a part-time driver. John Gilbert, the owner of Beard Motorsports. I'm pretty sure the last 2 times William Johnston has raced, he's finished second both times. Johnston has a good chance at upping that up by 1 here tonight. And I am pretty sure the 96 and the 78 are on the lead lap right now. Jay Jefferson also up here, and I believe Matt Delio is going to have a chance in the 88. But there was contact on the pit lane between Elijah Gordon and Ricky Stevenson. It might have hurt Stevenson in the 38. He's right now the last guy in line. And we're going to see how this whole thing cycles through here. And it is, in fact, Donovan Duthit who will lead the field of the restart when we restart, with William Johnston, Jay Jefferson, Dale Salzman, and Matt Delio rounds out the top 5 here at Charlotte. Anyways, a late caution here in the Coca-Cola 600. It was the first caution of the day, and it probably will be the last one as well. Let's go ahead and see what happened to create this drama we have right now here in the Coca-Cola 600. This is by far one of the weirdest things I have ever seen happen. I'm going to pause it right when the moment of caution occurs. And I'm going to show you around the racetrack. You see there, the lights go out. There is nothing on the racetrack, so that leads me to believe that we had ourselves a debris caution. And in NR 2003, that is a very rare thing. I do see damage on the number 14 of Zachary, or sorry, number 41, I should say, of Zachary Fitzwater. You see the bit of damage there. And Julius Anderson as well has also had damage in this race in the number 20. I'm assuming that the officials possibly saw something come off one of those two cars, and they decided to throw the caution out. That changes everything in this race, and let me tell you, I had no control over that. None whatsoever. By far one of the weirdest things I've ever seen happen. But you just gotta feel bad for all those guys who are probably gonna lose the race because of this. And feel good for Donovan Duthit, I guess, because he's gonna be the leader when we restart here in the Coca-Cola 600. Anyways, after this commercial break, we'll get to the restart here in the longest race of the season in Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
Here, we make NR 2003 schemes how you want them, when you want them, and they look great. Our iRacing services are no different. Who are we? We're Two Wine Designs, and we make your schemes your way.
So I choke on sun, and the days blur into one in the backs of my eyes.
And we have returned to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for what will be a late race restart in the Coca-Cola 600. We have gone 73 laps without a caution. Right then and there, the lights mysteriously go off, and what we are assuming is for a debris caution. Anyways, on the cycle of pit stops, the lead went to the 18 of Donovan Duthit, who has not even led up until this moment. Duthit with a chance at winning the longest race of the season. Right behind him, it's William Johnston, Jay Jefferson, Dale Salzman, Matt Dalio, Reagan Whitlock, Adam Lewis, Tristan Allen, and Ace Garcia, the top 10, coming to the restart. It's going to be 4 laps to go, and I think any of those guys in the top 10 can have a shot at winning this thing. Actually, I believe there's somebody who's not on the lead lap that we thought was on the lead lap. No, I think we just did the top 9. Alexander Rowe actually rounds out the top 10 in the number 27. You see the rest of the running order behind. Green flag is back in the air. Who's going to win the Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte? Got Julius Anderson in the way of our leader, but those guys are teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing, and Duthit will drive right by. Jay Jefferson with a chance. Matt Dalio with a chance in the 88. 3.5 laps to go in the Coca-Cola 600. William Johnston, one of the strongest part-time drivers so far this season, in the number 75, is going to take the lead as Donovan Duthit comes down the pit lane. He did not pack enough fuel in that machine, and the lead goes to the number 75 of William Johnston, pulling away. Matt Dalio fell back in the 88. Jay Jefferson in a part-time sandwich right now in between Johnston and Salzman. I believe it's going to be between these 3 drivers. Jay Jefferson, a very fast car right now, number 31, right behind the 75. Will Jay Jefferson get his first career win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series? 2 laps to go on the Coca-Cola 600. Duthit coming back out onto the racetrack. Jefferson trying to pull away from the rest of the field. He gets around William Johnston, and Jay Jefferson is taking the lead with 1.5 laps to go. Here's William Johnston falling back in the 75. I do not believe he took tires on that pit stop, so that's why he is fading fast. Reagan Whitlock for 3rd, but it's going to be between the 31 and the 96. Salzman has been the dominant guy in this race, but Jefferson wants to get that chase spot. The caution is back out. Was the caution out before these guys crossed the line? No, it wasn't. We're racing back, and Salzman has taken the lead away from Jay Jefferson. It is over. The number 96 has won this race. Jefferson is way too far behind. And for the first time ever, Dale Salzman will win a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. A part-time driver wins again. It's Salzman at Charlotte. Dale Salzman wins the Coca-Cola 600 here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jay Jefferson was not able to hold on. And the 96 for Gaunt Brothers Racing, the second part-time driver to win this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, season number 6. We had ourselves yet another caution right at the end of this one. I do not know what happened, but a couple of guys do have damage back in here. McMillan all torn up in the 95. I believe he might have had something to do with this. The 48 of Blaine Keys with damage as well. How about that one for Dale Salzman? He has been the dominant guy of this race. And he's going to come home with the victory here tonight as a part-time driver. Cookie Helms, the owner of this team, with the victory in the longest race of the season. Let's go ahead and review the crash that brought out the final caution that did not affect the finish of this race. The problem when we have these late race restarts, we get guys who come down the pit lane and don't do anything basically. They do not pack it full of fuel enough. Bouchard trying to come down the pit lane, runs right into NRLOA, and it's just mayhem from there. The 48 in the wall, John Arndt with damage. Kinghart, McMillan in the 95 also involved, the 21. And this happened after the leaders had crossed the line to take the white flag. Bouchard, Ricky Stevenson, Cody Sill, Anthony Lopez back in here. And just a huge, huge crash here on lap number 80, the final lap of the race here in the Coca-Cola 600. We're going to replay this one in real time following Daniel Bouchard in the number 11. And then you see what happens from there. McMillan majorly torn up in the 95. You see everybody else get piled in here. Bouchard, major damage on the 11. Ricky Stevenson, Richard Kinghart, and Alexander Rowe as well. Yeah. But Dale Salzman with the victory in the number 96. And this was the official finish of the race. Dale Salzman, the winner of the Coca-Cola 600 here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway as a part-time driver. And these part-timers have done an excellent job this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And they just keep on showing their stuff. 3 part-timers in the top 10 again. And I'm going to say this right now. I have looked to make sure the ratings are equal for the part-timers and the full-timers, and they have been. Trust me, they have been equal. And these guys, they've done a fantastic job this season getting wins. Eric Almenhart got a win earlier this season, and Dale Salzman gets a win here tonight. His first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory coming in the Coca-Cola 600. And he can't make it into the chase because he's a part-time driver, but that's going to ensure that the top 2 drivers in points will make it into the chase on points alone, no matter what. Jay Jefferson second, Reagan Whitlock third, Ace Garcia, William Johnston the top 5, Matt Dalio, Matt Tuck, defending winner of this race, Stuart Gratton, Hergel Arvin Alonso, and Derek Hamill the top 10. Take a look at the rest of the results right here. Everybody did actually finish this race. A lot of them finished a lap down. A lot of those guys were actually involved in that crash. And Julius Anderson had an issue on the pit lane in one of the pit stops and finished 6 laps down. Anyways, it was crazy near the end of this one. We went 73 laps without a caution. And then the caution lights just magically turn on for no reason. But it did not screw Dale Salzman out of a victory here tonight. The winner of the Coca-Cola 600 in Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Next Monday, of course, next Monday that will happen, which is going to be 2 days from now, we head to the Pocono Raceway for the Hers Live Life with Flavor 400. Last year, that race went caution-free, and might see a veteran driver pull it off there, but who knows? We actually had a veteran driver win the night. Dale Salzman is not a rookie, but he is a part-time driver, and Salzman, his first career win here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series as well. But Pocono was won by a veteran driver last year, and I think it might be won by a veteran driver this year, but I have no clue. I thought Jesse Turner was going to have a good night, and turns out he didn't. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Congratulations to Dale Salzman for grabbing the victory in the Coca-Cola 600, and here are the points for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. I will see you guys later.
Are you listening, sleeping, and the shadows could be making you